Diocese of Fargo is urging parishioners to vote no on Measure 5, which would legalize recreational marijuana in North Dakota. Bishop John Folda released a statement saying it was read at Mass and given to churchgoers. They claim marijuana is not a harmless drug. It can be addictive. They also cite Pope Francis, who says legalization leads to more drug use. One of the organizers behind Measure 5 says its intent is just to allow North Dakotans the ability to manage a product that's already prevalently used. You can read the full statement from the Diocese of Fargo on our free VNL News app. South Dakota